Daniel chapter 8, verse 14. And he said unto me, 2 evenings, mornings, 2,300, then shall be cleansed the sanctuary. Take notice that in Exodus chapter 29 and Numbers chapter 28, the text specifies that sacrifices, in regards to the daily sacrifice, that morning sacrifice precedes the evening sacrifice. But in Daniel chapter 8, it is specified first that the evening sacrifice occurs, then the morning sacrifice. The daily sacrifice therefore begins on the 25th of October at evening. A biblical day is from evening to evening. Once the sun is set, it is a new day. The evening of the 25th of October is part of, in biblical terms, the 26th of October. The prophecy in Daniel chapter 8 that relates to the 2,300 evenings and mornings is a prophecy that includes the beginning of the sacrifice, the daily sacrifice. It includes the abomination of desolation, and it includes the treading down of the courts outside the temple. Revelation chapter 11 picks up on this and specifies that the courts outside the temple shall be trodden down for 42 months. Revelation chapter 11 verse 2. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. Daniel chapter 8 verses 13 and 14. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice, and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden under foot? And he said unto me, Unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. The day that Jesus returns is going to be a very busy day. I'm not talking about the rapture, which happens in the middle of Daniel's 70th week. I'm talking about the second coming, which happens at the end of Daniel's 70th week. That day is going to be a very busy day. That day is known as the Day of the Lord. That day will occur on Yom Kippur 2024. It is my belief that 150 days after Yom Kippur 2024, that the sanctuary will be cleansed. It is my belief that 150 days after Yom Kippur 2024, the sanctuary will be cleansed. Just as 150 days after the flood began, the global flood, in Genesis chapter 6, 7 and 8, just as the waters abated after 150 days, and the earth was cleansed, so too, after 150 days, after Jesus returns on Yom Kippur 2024, the sanctuary will be cleansed. The ordinal English dramatra for daily sacrifice begins 25th of October 2018 equals 666. The template for this date comes from the following. The ordinal English dramatra for first seal 23rd of September 2017 is also 666. I have used the exact same date template. The only thing that has changed is the title of the calculation. In the first instance, it is first seal. In the second instance, it is daily sacrifice begins. Both titles, both denominators, determine what the date is going to be about. In the case of the first seal calculation, that date, the 23rd of September, is the day that Prince Harry was publicly portraying himself. That day, you could say he was going forth conquering and to conquer, that he was using Invictus, which is the Latin word for unconquered. He was using his Invictus Games as a platform to go forth conquering and to conquer. It was on the 23rd of September 2017 that he was photographed with Melania Trump. It is on that day that the Revelation 12 heavenly sign took place. It is on that day that I believe the first seal was opened. I believe the 22nd of September is when the countdown for the rapture began, and when the countdown to the end of Daniel's 70th week began. It is the 22nd of September that is Yom Teruah, the day of alarm. There is no reason why the first seal has to be tied to Yom Teruah, that they had to occur on the same day, and they didn't. Yom Teruah was on the 22nd of September. That is the day of alarm. That is different to the day when the first seal was opened. The book of Revelation has a dual chronology. Chapter 6 matches chapter 12. We know that. We know that to be true. The Bible says in Proverbs, "Buy the truth and sell it not." Revelation chapter 6 verses 1 and 2 match Revelation chapter 12 verses 1, 2, 3 and 4. It was a celestial pregnancy. It took just over 9 months. It culminated on the 23rd of September 2017. We know that that date is significant. We know that date is the day that he went forth conquering and to conquer. We have a foundation with that calculation. The daily sacrifice begins calculation is on the evening of the 25th of October. It is therefore technically part of the 26th of October. The 26th of October is one day before the end of the Sydney Invictus Games in Australia. This is not without significance, just as the calculation for the first seal also had a connection with the Invictus Games in Toronto, Canada. So too the Invictus Games in Sydney are connected to this calculation relating to the daily sacrifice. The other significant thing about the 26th of October 2018 is that is the 299th day of the solar calendar. That just happens to be the gematria of Prince Harry Charles Albert David, or alternatively Prince Henry Charles Albert David. Both of these titles equal 299 using ordinal English gematria. As we have seen with the solar eclipse on the 21st of August 2017, where the number 33 was very prominent, on 12 instances the number 33 can be developed from that date. It is therefore significant that the 26th of October is the 299th day of the year. "39 times 6 is the equivalent of an imperfect character multiplied by an imperfect man. It is only with Christ that we can be perfect. The number of Christ is 8. It is when we have Christ that as men and women we can be perfect.